Hi guys, this is Samuel Odhiambo Otieno, a senior law student at JKUAT, Karen Campus, Nairobi, Kenya. Please allow me to once again welcome you all to the Samuel Law Podcast and Academy YouTube practice so that together we can get to learn more about our laws. Welcome. So as promised last time, today we are once again going to look at some of the elements that create the tort law. And before we dig deeper into the tort subject, today I would like us to look briefly at fault liability concepts in tort law. So our objective today is we are going to understand the reason for the requirement of fault, and then we are also going to identify the arguments against the requirement of fault. Please welcome. So let's begin with the advantages of the fault liability. One, we have deterrence. This requirement promotes decency and careful behavior amongst individuals so as to escape or to help them avoid liability. Number two, we have accountability. It promotes accountability by forcing people to pay for their mistakes. We also have the laissez-faire policy, which encourages people to be responsible for their own actions without any unnecessary state interventions. Then we have control of tort actions. This limits the number of tort actions that may be brought to court and therefore minimizing the overloads that would have been witnessed in courts. It also helps by shifting the burden, because compensation is designed in such a way that it shifts the burden of harm from the victim to the party paying up the compensation. It actually acts as a punishment for the tortfeasor, or the wrongdoer, that is. Strict liability. This merely acts as a reversal of the burden of proof, as it allows the defendant to plead the contributory fault of the claimant as a defense or as a factor which should reduce damages. Let's now look at the disadvantages of the fault liability. Yes, as much as in the advantages we have seen that it acts as a deterrence, but one of the disadvantages again here is that lack of deterrence. The fault liability may not work as a deterrent to many tortfeasors, as they are aware that their insurance companies will pay for the damages in case of any tort committed. Unjust distinctions. There are cases where two people who have suffered exactly the same injuries may end up receiving very different levels of compensation due to the fault principle. And then we have illogical distinctions. Apart from the fact that proving a fault is quite difficult, the failing to prove one does not necessarily mean that it didn't occur. There is no logic in this approach, as any insured wrongdoer will personally lose nothing by paying damages. Expense. Surely proving fault requires more time, hence increasing the length and cost of tort cases. And then we have unpredictability, which increases anxiety and pressure on both the tortfeasor and the claimant. Problems with the objective standard. Fault is judged by reference to an objective standard of behavior, which largely ignores the knowledge or capacity of the person. And then we have tort as a tool for punishment. We all know that the primary aim or objective of tort is to compensate, and definitely not to punish the tortfeasor. So in our conclusion today, fault liability is quite unfair to claimants because of the difficulties they have to bear to provide proof and evidence. It's also unfair on defendants as there is no way of accounting for degrees of culpability. Generally, it can be said to be unfair to the society at large as it creates low classes of claimants who can be compensated and those who cannot be compensated. It's also so arbitrary as it relies heavily on policy. It's justified both as a tool for punishing wrongdoers and for its deterrent value. Do you have any questions or comments? Kindly post them in the comment section below the video. Otherwise, thanks for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, click the notification bell, and share with your friends and family or networks. Thank you very much.